The time is here. The time is now. The Houston Astros take on the Minnesota Twins. If you're going to go to the game, wear orange and be loud. We're going to talk about keys to a series victory for the Houston Astros against their old friend Carlos Correa on this playoff edition of Locked On Astros. Bury me in the H.
Welcome to Locked On Astros, your daily Astros podcast. Here are your hosts, Eric the Man Huysman and Brett H-Town Wheelhouse Chancey.
We are Locked On Houston Astros, and we hope that you join us for a daily Locked On Astros podcast. My name is Eric Huysman. You can find me on Twitter at Eric Talks Stros. Find the show at Locked On Astros, your team every day. And I ain't throwing any shade today. The Astros are going to go out there and they're going to kick some Twins' butt. Brett, where can they find you at?
They can find me on X, TikTok, and Instagram at H-Town Wheelhouse. They can find me on X, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook at Stros411. Always positive. I love the playoffs in Houston. Always Stros.
Guys, thank you for making us your first listen every day. Whether it's on YouTube, go and keep on subscribing to us. Go and make us your first listen on Apple, Odyssey, Spotify. Wherever you listen to your podcast, go and become an everydayer. Somebody listens to our podcast every day and become part of our crew. And we're going to go ahead and bring you some shows after every game this postseason. And I think this is going to be great. We have a different pitcher going against us than we thought there would be. I'm going to go ahead and take off these shades because I'm too cool for shades. So, but I'm just excited about this whole series. I think the Astros, they have the experience, they have the veteran leadership on this, and they have what it takes to get the job done. But what we do have to worry about is Carlos Correa, and he had some things to say about the Houston Astros and playing against them and playing at Minute Maid Park. This is the first time he would be doing that against the Astros. Last time the two teams played each other, it was with Carlos Correa on the team. So it's a whole different story. Who's going to be on the mound for the Astros in game one? We already know it's Justin Verlander. But who's going to be on the rest of the roster? I broke it down. I looked at last year's ALDS roster, and I kind of manipulated it. And I think it'll be a little bit different this year, but we'll have to see. But there's a lot for us to discuss on this edition of the Locked On Astros podcast. So, Brett, what are you the most excited for going into game one at ALDS?
Oh, dude, I'm just excited. I mean, honestly, compared to where we were a few weeks ago, I'm just glad we're here. We really kind of got a scare and wondered if the Mariners or somebody else was going to take our spot. Right. You know, I'm not nervous like a lot of people are saying. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm nervous. I'm kind of nervous because of this series." Look, this team's going to be fine. This team is going to be able to take care of business because they have been there, done that. They've got all the T-shirts. It's not just one T-shirt. They got them all. They got the whole series of T-shirts. They got so many playoff T-shirts. Their moms could all make a T-shirt quilt out of the amount of playoff games and playoff victories that they have. And so what it simply comes down to is this. We have a starting pitcher, Justin Verlander, who is probably more primed and ready to go and more healthy than he's been in the last 3 or 4 years since 2017, really.
Right.
And you've got a offense that when it's firing on all cylinders can absolutely beat anybody. We saw that early in the season with the sweeps of the Rays and of the Braves. We've seen that when they've taken care of business in Baltimore with the Orioles. And we know what the potential is. Okay. I love hearing that Brantley's 100%. I love hearing that Yordan is 100%. But this lineup is such a squeeze that you have to sit there and go, wow, we have to decide how many ABs Yainer's going to get. We have to decide where is Brantley playing. Is Chas McCormick going to play? How much is he going to play? How much is Dubon going to play? How do you keep his bat out of the lineup? Because Dubon's really been the most consistent bat all season long. He's been the guy you can depend on for hits. And, you know, he's had a walk-off here lately, key clutch hits in the last 6 games. And so I'm just excited about really all of it, Eric. I think you're going to see this team really start coming together and all the hard work paying off in the right time in the clutch.
I know that Dusty Baker kind of said he doesn't know how healthy Michael Brantley was, but Michael Brantley came out today and said that, no, I'm 100% ready. It was good to have those days off, but I'm perfectly fine and I'm ready to play every day. And especially against all right-handers, starting pitchers for the Twins, you're going to see Michael Brantley out there as often as you can. And this is a guy that the Astros did not have in their lineup last year when they won the World Series. So this is a big addition to the team. And when I made my roster, I'm not going to lie, I forgot about one pitcher. And I had to add him as my 26 guy because this guy, he has potential to be good, but it's Kendall Graveman. I just totally forgot he was on the team just because he hasn't wowed us. And there's been good moments, bad moments, but I'll have to talk about my rest of the roster. But there are 6 Astros players that are on my ALDS roster that weren't on the roster last year. The rest of them are pretty much holdovers. So this is a good majority of the team. 20 out of 26 players are holdovers from last year. So I think that's a good sign for the Houston Astros. And one thing I did want to bring up that we didn't talk about yesterday was I don't know if you know this, Brett, but the Astros haven't faced the same opponent in ALDS since they've started playing. In 2015, it was the Royals. 2017, it was the Red Sox. In 2018, it was the Indians or Guardians, whatever they were called back then. 2019, it was the Rays. In 2020, it was the A's. 2021, it was the White Sox. 2022, it was the Mariners. And 2023, it was the Twins. So you would think that we would be facing the same guys over and over again in ALDS, but it's not. And so it's kind of ironic to see that, but they always end up at the same spot. ALCS, most time in the World Series. That's just the type of pedigree this team is. And that's why Minnesota fans, they're acting all tough and everything, and more power to you. But Astros fans, we just know what our team is capable of. And we heard I think Chaz McCormick say it, a couple other players say it. When it comes to October, I think Jeff Blum even said it on the radio today. When it comes to October, this team just has a way of turning it on. And that's why I've been saying for the past month or so.
They do. They do truly have a playoff mode. And I'm still feeling really good about my confidence in Justin Verlander having the best postseason that he's ever had. And Eric, like you had mentioned with our roster construction, let's talk about, look, number one, facing Carlos Correa. Something he said today before we get into the pitchers, just something I want to mention real quick. I thought was worth mentioning. He said that last night at dinner and this morning at breakfast, he was in Houston eating, and he had Astros fans come up to him, thank him for what he did for the city. And he said they kept wishing me good luck. And he was like, you do realize I don't play for the Astros anymore. He thought it was kind of funny. He's like, so I'm going to take those well wishes with me. And so, fans, I think, were just genuinely love Carlos Correa, his wife, his family, what they meant to the community. He is, I believe, Lance McCullers. They are each other's godparents to their children. And so they have a real close knit. And you're not going to sever relationships off the field. Those actually probably mean more to them than anything. But this is a proven, champion. This is a guy that called for the pickoff of Vlad Guerrero Jr. in that game too. That was a key play in that game. Sonny Gray didn't realize till after the game that it was Carlos Correa that called for that. And so his acumen is huge baseball wise. But with knowing you've got an experienced guy, he knows these pitchers. And so the question remains is how many pitchers are they going to carry? Because last year in the ALDS, they carried 12 pitchers.
Yeah.
I think this year you have to carry 13 pitchers. Would you possibly go 14?
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. I don't, before we move away from Carlos Correa.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
He said to some of the fans that kind of wished him good luck, he said, are you sure you want to tell me good luck? And on Jose Altuve, because somebody asked, well, we noticed that fans are still booing Jose Altuve. He said, well, they boo him, but I feel that's entertainment for the fans to go out there and do that. He's going to be in a Hall of Fame one day. There's no doubt about that. It's tired by now. That booing still happens, but it happens. And also, apparently, Dusty Baker, I must have missed this, but Dusty Baker said that Carlos Correa is him and his wife's favorite player, and outside of Houston. And so Carlos Correa said, actually, my wife brought it up this morning with teary eyes to me, what Dusty said about me. It truly means a lot. Dusty is a man that I respect so much as a manager. He was always great to me. We built a great relationship. And Correa also said that he has not had any contact with any of his former teammates leading up to the series. He says, we'll be friends again after the series. Right now, we're both teams are focused on winning the series. It's an important one. And I think we can all agree on that. And right now, the Astros just are going to go out there and hopefully they're not going to fall to the sleeper Twins. But let's go and talk about sleeper for a second, Brett.
Yeah, definitely. Sleeper is ready for you to make your bets and make your mark on the sleeper world. I'm telling you, the baseball playoffs are here and you can win 100 times your money with daily fantasy baseball. Why not pick out some of the studs that are in this series this week, where you have Yordan Alvarez, Kyle Tucker, Jose Altuve? I could go down the entire Astros lineup. I'm going to say Minnesota Twins, guys, but I hope they don't do too well. So maybe pick the under on them for home runs and hits and things like that, like Carlos Correa, Royce Lewis, and many others. What you can do at this app is you can join a group of friends. You can start group chat. You can smack talk. You can do whatever you want. You can pick more or less on stats for these stars with home runs, hits, strikeouts, and for more and for up to 100 times payout on Sleeper. Get your picks right and you could win big. Use the promo code Locked On, and you'll get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Sleeper is where it's at. Make sure that you check out the Astros. If you're going to listen to them, listen to the Astros play the Twins Saturday, Game 1, the ALDS, 3:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch all the hometown play calls on SiriusXM on the SXM app. Search Astros. So, we do have some questions here already in the chat, and they're asking about us. What we're going to be talking about here right now is, how many pitchers is this going to be a 4-man rotation? And I know we were going to talk about some stuff last night and we didn't get to because we had the Twins talk as well. Right. But Dana Brown did say that he looks at Urquidy taking on a bullpen type of role, which means I believe Christian Javier would be slotted in as
the third starter,
as your third starter. And then after that, you've got JP France or Hunter Brown in there to help out if JP France, I'm not saying starting, but JP France to come in there and be the starter, Hunter Brown to come in if he's needed. Maybe, you could use Hunter Brown in a long relief role.
Right. You can also use Urquidy as a long reliever too. So both of those guys has an option. So if one of them if you have to take out Verlander for some reason early, you can always bring in one of those guys. So that's the benefit of having two starters in the bullpen like Hunter Brown and Urquidy. So I think that's what they're looking at, is that type of situation.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Someone's asking, does Carlos still have a house in Houston? I believe he still does. I don't think they,
don't quote me on that. I don't.
Yeah. He may still have a house here. I'm not sure, but look right here. Matt McNeil saying the key for the Astros pitching is no walks. Twins will play small ball in certain situations. That's a great observation. They do strike out a lot, but they also can take pitches. They can work counts. And so if Justin Verlander's not on early, that could spell, early pressure. I'm not going to say doom, but I really think that the Astros need to jump on the Twins pitching early, especially since it's not their ace. And if you do that, then you can get Justin Verlander to settle in, because Justin Verlander spoke to the press today, and they asked how he was feeling physically. And he said, I feel pretty good right now. Most of the season's been a bit tough, kind of starting behind the 8 ball with the injury, and then trying to find my mechanics a lot of the year. But it seems to have slowly gotten better and better in the last few outings. I felt pretty good. Basically, what he did say in this press conference was they made a an adjustment in his mechanics, and that adjustment in his mechanics from his last outing was so good because they made that last minute adjustment. And so he's taken that late season adjustment that he's made into the playoffs, which gives me even more confidence about how he is going into this ALDS.
Yeah, I wasn't ever really worried about Javier. I thought that Javier was eventually going to figure it out. I think there was some fatigue there. I think there was some maybe some, okay, I got my contract. I need to try to live up to that contract, and maybe trying to do too much at some times. So I think that's what we're seeing there. But for the Twins, a lot of people thought it was going to be Joe Ryan in game one. And even Joe Ryan was like, he thought he was supposed to be the game 3 pitcher in the wild card series. And so even I went behind the scenes and looked at a athletic article from the Twins side. And he said that he asked, well, if we don't have game 3 of the wild card series, does that mean I'm going to start game 1 of the ALDS? And the manager was like, couldn't give him a direct answer. So meaning that it wasn't set in stone that he was going to start in game 1 of the Astros. There's several Astros that have had home runs against him. He has a little checkered past against the Astros. He's had some good starts, but he's also allowed some home runs. So I think the Twins are going with Brett Ober. He's somebody that was 8-6 with a 3.43 ERA, with 146 strikeouts and 144 and 1/3 innings pitched. So he throws a lot of fastball, and he's and Baldelli said that he's a tough-minded guy. It wasn't an easy decision, but we went with this guy. It's a different, unique look. He's pitched really well lately. He's coming off a little break, and he had later on in the year, he looks really strong. Overall, we just really like what we've seen. So they felt more confident going with Ober versus Joe Ryan at this point. So Joe Ryan will probably be saved for game 4.
Yeah, and so to go back to and that's an interesting aspect to mention with the Twins, where a pitcher's thinking he's going to go somewhere and the coach can't really give him,
Right.
that doesn't really give you like, oh boy, they really are confident in me. But Joe Ryan has not had great success against the Astros from what I recall. But to kind of reemphasize this thing about Justin Verlander, I had mentioned earlier about his mechanics. I have his exact quote here. He says there were just kind of, as things started to settle in a little bit, he said, I've started to find some stuff mechanically that freed me up a little bit, particularly in that last start. I found something just kind of mobility wise that freed up my body a little bit and allowed me. I wasn't sure how it was going to work. I told a couple guys in the locker room that I thought I found something, and I always say that, so they would kind of joke with me about it. He said, but it seemed I did when the velocity jumped a little bit. Hopefully I can carry that into the postseason. Through the postseason, we'll see. So that is key. This is, to me, this is a guy that is a veteran, a 16, 17-year veteran, a guy that's been here almost 20 years in the league. And he is sitting here making adjustments to what he does. I mean, this is first ballot Hall of Famer Justin Verlander. I love to see this. And his leadership, Eric, in this postseason can't be overstated enough.
Yeah. So Justin Verlander kind of came in. I know we had to give up a lot of the Astros' future to reacquire him, but you also have him for the future as well. So it wasn't just a 1 year, half a season type thing. And Justin Verlander has shown me, I know in the past we've had the argument, well, he's not really a good postseason pitcher. He's had some good games. He's had some bad games, but we don't know what this version of Justin Verlander will go out and do. The way he's been pitching the past couple games, if he goes out there and pitches like that, the Twins won't be able to touch him. And then just get it to the back of the bullpen. The back of the bullpen has been doing its job all year. In fact, I have some stats here if I can find it. But so last year in the playoffs, 9 pitchers compiled a 0.83 ERA and 54 1/3 innings pitching. Going on in the playoffs to the World Series. And so no bullpen before that had a sub 100 ERA in the playoffs. with a minimum of 40 innings pitched. So this year, the Astros bullpen was 3.56 ERA. It was 7th in the majors, and its 1.27 WHIP was 10th. So it's not exactly the same. It's not performing the exact same way, but I think that we've seen some signs that this bullpen can revert back to what it was in 2023. We need Ryan Presley to be more consistent. We need that Rafael Montero that we've seen little glimpses of. We need the Kendall Graveman that we traded for. And Hector Neris needs to continue to have that fire, that heart, that passion out there. And we need Brian Abreu just go out there and just be nails and just go out there and just get the job done. And the rest of we'll talk about the roster in a second, but the rest of the guys just got to go out there and get outs.
Exactly. Robert's sitting here asking me if I think Justin Verlander will give us 7 innings. I believe he will. I believe you're going to see Justin Verlander go out there, and he's going to, I believe he's got the ability to go out there and be efficient. And I think the 7 innings also, what a key part of that is his offense backing him up as well. But if he's rolling, if he's efficient, if he's throwing strikes, if he's not walking batters, there's no reason to pull him early. You don't have to protect him, pull him in the 6th inning. You keep him in you keep him in as long as you feel comfortable with him being in there. Now, look, baseball is back. It's October, and you can make your postseason debut with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join FanDuel today, and you'll get started with $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. You're right. I'm not making this up. They're going to get you started with $200 in bonus bets when you place a $5 bet. Doesn't matter whether you win that bet or not. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to create your new account. Then you can go and get into the action from the first pitch until the final out. Bet on everything from strikeouts to home runs to who will win the game. And if you don't want to wait the whole game to get the W, predict what will happen in the next at bat with quick bats. So head over to FanDuel.com/lockedon right now. Step up to the plate for this postseason with $200 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. Make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Major League Baseball. And listen to the Astros play the Twins Saturday, Game 1, ALDS, 3:45 p.m. Central Standard Time. Catch all the hometown calls on SiriusXM with the SXM app. Search Astros. Eric, I've got a question for you. Charlie Palillo was talking about it today. He had a picture of Minute Maid Park with the roof open. And he said, I really doubt the roof will be open for Game 1. But for Game 2, it's more likely. He said, but you know what? I'm going to hold out hope for a 1% chance that the Astros open the roof for Game 1. What do you think? 0% chance
they've already
they
announced
in Game
that
1?
it's going to be
they have
closed for both
I
games.
didn't know that.
Why?
Oh, it's closed
for both
Why?
games. Yeah, because that's what the players want. The players want it closed.
Wait, I thought Major League Baseball decided.
Well, no.
That's
the Astros closed. I think in the World Series, that's when they maybe in the later rounds. That's when they decide.
Wow, I didn't know that.
No, the Astros have already announced that the roof will be closed for the first 2 games, and a lot of people are asking, well, why? That doesn't make any sense. So we'll have to see. But I think that the Astros with the roof closed, they like how loud fans get, and so. I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a second.
Okay.
I just stepped on my soapbox. All right. So, guys, I'm not going to be able to go to the game tomorrow. But if you're going to the game, wear orange, be loud. If they give you the thunder sticks, be loud with the thunder sticks. If they give you the towels, be loud. Who cares if you can't talk the next day? Go out there, cheer on your Houston Astros. I don't know if you heard Kyle Tucker out there saying, thank you for supporting us, but we need you to continue to support the Houston Astros. Go out there, be loud and proud, and don't just talk about what you did that day, what's going on at work, what little Johnny's doing at school. Talk about the Astros. The Astros are in the playoffs, and go out there, root them on, and let's show the nation how we support the Houston Astros, because we know outside of Houston, nobody gives a crap about the Houston Astros. So let's show them what real fans are and go out there and support the Houston Astros.
Eric, thank
Off
you
my
for
box.
saying that. I appreciate that, because that is, look, don't go to the game and do this. Look at me, folks. Get on your phone. Get off the phone. Yeah, well, I mean, look, hey, if you see me, let's take a selfie. Let's get that on social media. Let's do that. That rules. But the Astros crowd, I think Minute Maid was ranked 5th most ruckus crowd in Major League Baseball. Now, I don't know what the definition of ruckus is, but let's be loud. Let's act like that Minnesota crowd was acting, because they hadn't seen a playoff in 20 something years. Just go out there and be loud. Now, I want to tell y'all also, not just for the game, but here is the deal. Here are the times. 1:00 p.m. the gates open. From 1 to 3:45, there is a street fest. Now, first pitch is at 3:45, so you might want to get in before that. 3:20 is the lineup intros, the big intros, and it says wear orange. Make sure you know the bag policy. You can't have anything. Like, I usually bring a string backpack if I'm going to bring my glove. You can bring a clear bag. A couple things that these fans may not know if they're first-time playoff people, if they haven't been to Minute Maid Park, you can bring in a gallon Ziploc bag with a bottle of water for each person that's sealed, and you can bring food. I've literally seen people go to different restaurants like Hooters or somewhere like that, put their stuff in this Ziploc bag and go inside, and you don't have to pay to eat it. And I don't know if they've gotten more strict on it. I've never been stopped myself, but I know that for a while you've been able to bring your cup back into the stadium. But I think they've been a little, it depends on which gate you go in. If you talk to Carol at the home plate gate, she'll probably let you through.
Anyway, I've seen people with like a bag of spaghetti go in, as long as it's
that's
nasty.
Clear. Oh, that's nasty. Yeah. If you eat spaghetti out of a bag, I do not want to take a picture with you. No offense. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird. This isn't Halloween. We're not reaching our hand in some mystery bag. But what is that? Anyways, but hey, look, I'm excited. We're going to be, I guess I got to be down there sooner. I didn't know the gates opened at 1 until just now.
Right.
So be loud, get there early, stay late, party. It's going to be fun. But please also, you know what? Celebrate responsibly. They do have a really cool thing. You can get a designated driver wristband and get a free Coca-Cola there at the stadium. Make sure you have a designated driver. Please don't drink and drive this weekend. Look, the Astros are fun and they may win both games, but it's not worth putting your life in danger. So please, celebrate responsibly, especially if you're going to eat all that spaghetti. Make sure someone's there helping you with a napkin. Eat spaghetti responsibly too. Are you serious? You've seen someone do that?
I saw somebody with a bag of spaghetti. I thought I was there with you. Maybe I was with somebody else, but it was like, I'm like, they literally have a bag of spaghetti over there.
Did they have meatballs?
I don't know. I wasn't looking that close.
Did they have Parmesan cheese?
I don't know. I was not looking that close. I just saw a bag of spaghetti. That's all I know.
And was it from Olive Garden? Because
Josh
we know that's
Reddick will be throwing out the first pitch. No, sorry.
That's right.
Josh Reddick will be doing the Let's Play Ball, and Mattress Mac will be throwing out the first pitch. So
Mattress Mac will be throwing out the first pitch. Then Josh Reddick. That's right. And then one of the games you'll have two from the Houston Dynamo, Brian Ching, Houston Dynamo legend, and then another one of their players will be throwing out the first pitch as well. But look, it's going to be exciting. If y'all are there, just know that I'm going to be there Saturday. I'm going to be there Sunday. And so if you see me around, hit me up on social media. We can meet up. I would love to say hi.
All right. So the Astros did replace the outfield after all the concerts they had recently. So the roof is open today because they have to let the sun hit the new turf, but it's going to be closed for the 2 games. Dusty Baker was asked about, does he expect to come back next year? This is what he said. I try to live in the present and look forward. I'm grateful to the Lord and Jim Crane for giving me this opportunity. It's been a good marriage here. So we don't know what that means, but we don't know if he's going to be coming back or not. But the Astros did go 2-4 against the Twins this year, but keep in mind that Alvarez was not in the lineup for most of that. And also that we do need to go ahead and go over the roster. This is what I think the roster is going to be. I think that despite them for 2 seasons going to ALDS with 12 pitchers and only 12 pitchers, I think they're going to go with 13 this year because I just don't see who the odd man out is. And I don't see a hitter that's really worthy of leaving the pitcher out. So this is who my roster is. Justin Verlander, Framber Valdez, Christian Javier, JP France. That's the rotation. Long reliever is Jose Urquidy. Then you have Ryan Presley, Brian Abreu, Hector Neris, Phil Maton, Rafael Montero, Ryan Stanek, Hunter Brown, and Kendall Graveman. That's my pitchers. Any
I've just seen people say if they don't carry a certain number of pitchers, Stanek might be on the outside looking in this time around.
That's the only guy I would remove. I think Hunter Brown with his arm, I think that he can definitely go out there for a short innings, short outing.
But
pitch good baseball.
But Eric, even in a 5-game series, and even in a shortened series, with the amount of like how this pitching relief corps has performed, having Stanek on there may be a good thing. Because let's say you get into a game. Let's just say you get into a game where you get in some trouble. You don't want to burn your more like you want to bring in Stanek because you can hopefully rely on him to get you out, but you also don't want to use a guy that you may value more at this point in the season, like a Neris or an Abreu. So he may be kind of a stopgap. I'm just, right. I like having more pitchers in this situation because I think we don't really, we got a couple guys on the bench. We can, anyways, tell me about your offensive guys.
Okay, I have Martin Maldonado, Yainer Diaz, Jose Abreu, Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena, Alex Bregman, Mauricio Dubon. I put him as an infielder just because we have a lot of outfielders this year. Greg Kessinger, I really don't see the purpose of him, but there's not really anybody else. He could be a defensive replacement or he can be a pinch runner later in the game. You have Kyle Tucker, Chas McCormick, Jordan Alvarez, and Jake Myers and Michael Brantley.
So
no surprises.
So no John Singleton?
No John Singleton.
Okay.
No third catcher. I think that Dana Brown has pretty much confirmed that.
Yeah, Eric, I just feel like where they are. Look, Martin Maldonado stepped it up. I haven't heard a whole lot of people praising him, how he performed in the last 6 games of the season. When he threw out those 2 runners, threw out the guy at second, he was like, I finally threw out somebody. So I think if anybody is aware of where things have kind of gone downhill a little bit for him, it's Martin Maldonado. Because back there, Eric, he really values his place on the team. And the last thing he wants to do is be the reason a guy gets on base or be a reason that the next guy up hits a bloop single and someone scores because he didn't throw him out. So if there's anyone that cares about their craft, it's Martin Maldonado. I love hearing that Jordan Alvarez is saying that he has nothing to worry about with his elbow. He believes that he's full strength. He's ready to go. And then Michael Brantley is ready to go. Michael Brantley is just, that dude is, he is the coolest. He goes, the work that I've done and, the knowledge that I have of my swing, just when he talks in interviews, you're just like, yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Brantley, whatever you want. It's just, he commands so much respect. And I think having him healthy right now, Eric, and I'm so glad I was wrong about him not coming back this year.
All right. So somebody asked if Jabu will be watching the game. Yes, he'll be watching the game. He'll be watching his with his cool sunglasses on. So I'm excited about tomorrow. Just go out there and root for the Astros. Hopefully they come back to Houston if needed, or hopefully they don't. I don't know. I just hope that this is the Astros win the series. I love October baseball. I don't want this to end. I don't want this to just be a one and done. So let's just go out there, play our best baseball, and we don't worry about what the Twins do. We just play our best baseball and get it done. So, Brett, your closing arguments?
Hey, let's go Astros. Let's go Astros. Just go out there, be loud, be bright and orange, and make sure that you tune in to Locked On Astros, your only daily Astros podcast, who's got you covered after every postseason game. He's Eric the Man Huysman. I'm H-Town Wellhouse. Find us on all socials, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and make sure that you tell your friends about us to make us your team every day. And as always, let's go Astros!
Astros.
Let's go!
Is this a yeehaw moment? Yeehaw.
Yeehaw!
Okay, there you go. Yes.